So we should be live. Let me see here. Let me just click go live. Yep, we are live. Okay, let me see if I can adjust our layout so that we are. See if that works. Well, I think we are live. We are everywhere. So I'm trying to see if I can get a better view. I want us to.
Let me see on my own thing, because this is like when you're trying something new, right? We all got to
Yeah.
help each other out and see like what's happening. Let's see if we're
Yes.
live on your Instagram.
So I see us on Instagram. I just wish I had a better grid view so that I could stack us, but it's not stacking us. It's like flip flopping us. So let's see here. Let me just see if I do this, if that will stack us. It's not going to stack us. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and. Can you see it on Instagram?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we're
no, it
not
doesn't.
stacked. So
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
jumping. It's jumping from you to me to you to me. So let's see if we just do a split screen, if that works, which is interesting. I've never used Riverside to go live. We did it last night. And so I think what it's doing is it's just going to flip flop. Um, so as I talk, it'll show me. When you talk, it'll show you. So I think we'll just kind of have to run with it. But everything should be live on YouTube as well. You should be able to see the screen, both of us on those screens. And then we have LinkedIn as well.
Nice.
Yes. So let's get started. So, Jen, welcome to Creatively Speaking. I'm so excited to have you here. I have so many things I want us to cover. Um, but before I dive in, I just want to tell the audience a little bit about you and I, right? So,
Yeah.
we met, gosh, it's got to be at least 10 years, if not 11. So it was about 10 years ago when I first met you, was first introduced to you and the work that you do. And I've been following you ever since. So I've worked for you, you've worked for me, I've done all the things. Like I just follow you around. I've always just admired how quickly and succinctly you could bring something to market. That's what always attracted me to you and your business model, is that you were always able to pivot when you needed to. You were able to get things out there. And if it was, something that was messy in the middle, you just figured it all out. So I've always admired that. And, you actually have, this trifecta of a background. You have corporate background. You've worked with tech companies. You've worked with, the Verizons and the Oracles of the world. You've also owned your own brick and mortar business,
Yep.
and then on top of that, you created Master Brand Institute, which really is where I found you, and you brought programming to small business owners and entrepreneurs alike. And I've just always admired all the content that you have brought to life. And now you can also add that you are a published author. So that's so
Yes.
huge. Here I have my version. I got it today.
Yay. Oh, yay. Look at you. You've got a highlight. You've already got post-it notes
Oh
in
yeah, I've got
it. I'm excited
post-it.
to hear what you're
So
already like
I'm already in
leaving.
it. So I'm so excited that you're here if everyone can't tell. But I mean, I think that, creatively speaking, and this season in particular is called Food for Thought. And I think that this is the perfect time for us to be talking, because it is about different ways that an author can bring their book to life.
Yeah.
And you, my friend, have been very transparent with your road to authorship. And so while I'm gushing and gushing, I just want to give you the congratulations on this baby
Thank
being
you.
here, because it was a long road.
Yeah, very long, way too long. Way too long for somebody who likes to bring ideas with speed and success. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that. It really confronted all of my thinking about what it would take. And I realized that, first of all, like writing a book, and I know, Leanna, this is your work. You help so many authors bring their book ideas to life, specifically like the most beautiful, glossy, flossy books that are seen. And, you know, it is truly, and you also have a child, so you also know this. I'm like, I think a book is a lot more challenging in all the ways than having a kid or having a business. And I didn't know for sure until I did it myself, because I've been behind a lot of the New York Times bestsellers and like helping them establish their entire brand ecosystem around brand and business monetization strategy around their intellectual property or their creativity, and they're really the same. But when you do it yourself, like when you go through the process yourself, you really see all the gremlins
Hmm.
and also the excitement. And it's a very unique mission to get a book into the world. And so I just want to say, for all you listening who are authors or you're in the process, kudos, because we are a special rare breed of unicorn. I will say that. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So, out of all those things that I mentioned, I mean, like I said, your experience, it really spans so many different modalities. So, how did you choose what this first book of yours was going to be about?
Well, what Leanna was alluding to in terms of my transparency and like my road to getting this book into the world, I took what I call like the super challenging path and didn't realize that I was making decisions that actually, again, I feel like I was born for this kind of thing, where I find where all of the dark roads are and I want to illuminate them with like what's really happening down this road. And so, even in choosing this idea first, because I have 4 master models that I operate my company, Master Brand Institute, around, and they're around the concept of what I call brand time, so TIME, so team, identity, messaging, and experiences. And so I turned 50 last year, and I knew that this decade for me was about contribution. Like, I really wanted to get out of my head the things that were helping people who were successful succeed, and then also put it in a way that I hoped could be as close to something someone could follow who didn't have access to, let's say, those resources, or couldn't afford to work with somebody like me at this time because they were starting something new. And I frankly wanted to reimagine leadership at every level, including the corporate span, the everyday Main Street market, where, to Leanna's point, I worked in corporate. I had a Main Street business. I had a retail brick and mortar business. I obviously am in the services slash online business now. And then also, like leadership period, politics, whatever, anything that requires people to get their ideas to other people. I knew that this was the book I needed to do first. And I had to convince publishers that this was the idea to go to first, and they didn't want it. I got rejected by every single publisher, so 70 in total, because there's the big five, and then there's all the imprints of the big five, and there's even the hybrids,
Yeah.
because the hybrids, even they choose you even though you pay, right, for them to
Right.
distribute your books and help develop your book concept. They didn't choose me in their roster of 10 books that they were gonna publish. I was like, "What the heck is this? Like, why is everybody rejecting me?" And it was very, very confronting. And because also we know that publishing is a business, and rightly so. They have to be a business. And so why it also didn't make sense for me was I have a platform. Like, I have, a solid platform. I have an email list of 400,000 emails. And I thought, gosh, if they're rejecting me, like, who else is getting rejected? And it felt I was sad. Like, I was like, "Why?" And mad. And I was like, why is this idea not something they get?" And here's the cool thing. What I realized was they're not supposed to get it when you're a unicorn. They're not supposed to get it.
Yeah.
You have to be first,
Yeah.
right? You have to be first, and you have to be stubborn. So in that way, be a donkey, be a mule, like be a stubborn mule around your ideas, because I was like, I'm not here for what's being taught. I'm here for what the future looks like, and this I'm giving my basically my futurist strategic playbook that will help people navigate and reimagine their lives and their ideas forward, and that's why they didn't get it. So I was like, "Okay, now I know why you don't get it, so I will go ahead and self-publish this book." And when I self-published the book, and this is again, this is not a call out, this is a call forward,
Yeah.
but I signed a contract with Scribe, which was highly recommended to me, and I had done a lot of vetting and processing. Any idea that I have, I put through my model, which helps me make better decisions. And 2 weeks later, they claimed bankruptcy and took $40,000 of mine. So here I was like totally like
Yeah.
rejected, 70 by the traditional
Right. And you're
space.
all in on this. You're like, okay, I'm doing this.
Well, I guess I'm rejected. So, in what I started to understand is like, too, when you have an idea and everybody's rejected, you can't go back with the idea. So I was like, I guess I'm gonna have to go back to them when I have my second idea, which was about the messaging, because
Hmm.
that's the book they wanted to buy, Leanna. They wanted me to write a book on messaging, and I said I will write that book, and it's going to be my second book. But I don't want to write it until people understand this concept first,
Right.
because this is the biggest obstacle that actually every single company, brand, product, thought leader, expert, anyone has. They don't know, number one, what motivates them to make their ideas happen. And number two, they don't know how to rally other people, including their part time staff, the contractors on their team, to make it go forward. So even the word team, I'm trying to reimagine it for people. I'm like, when you think of team, the team we need going forward is not the team that used to be, not the traditional team structures that used to exist. That's why I'm writing, and I called it a team, even they're like, "Oh, we don't need an operations book. There are a lot of leadership books. There's a la 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 la." I
Yeah.
go, "I know that. That's why I'm trying to reimagine it, and you just gotta bet on me, and I promise you if you bet on me, I'm gonna win." Because but I get it. They didn't know me yet. I had a great resume, I have a great platform, but, sometimes, like, what I also learned is, like, you gotta be famous sometimes in this new world. And I was like, "Well, that's deeply unfair." Because I feel like I'm quote unquote well known and respected in my tiny niche,
Yeah.
right? And frankly, as I said, I'm behind like all the famous brands that you see out there too. But it was like, oh, you don't respect the person who's actually like strategizing and the rainmaker behind all of it. That's weird.
Yeah.
And there's so many people, including Liana, your firm, your company, who develops these beautiful pieces of art in the form of books and other products and published awesomeness, like through Productology, which is one of your companies.
Hmm.
But like that makes you a unicorn. That's not necessarily like, oh, Oprah Winfrey, but you're the person who the Oprah Winfrey or the new upcoming cookbook author is looking for, that
Right.
understands their vision and then can turn it into something epic. And so I wanted to put a spotlight on all of the players that it takes to make great ideas happen. And so I know that was a long explanation, but I wanted people to understand like it hasn't been easy, but it has been totally worth it, because now that I know how the sausage is made, now I can really fix it too going forward
Oh,
for
yeah.
myself and others.
I'm so glad that you had that stick to itiveness with your vision on this because, like like I said earlier, I've been in we've been in each other's orbits for 10 years. I have done a lot of the master brand programs. I've done a lot of them. And while they did help me move the needle, meaning you helped me get productology out of my brain and into the world. I have a quiz, I have a funnel, I have all these things, and all of that was great, but there was still no big like momentum for me. But what I will say is, in May, I took my next chance of, okay, I'm going to join Guild with Jen. This is a big commitment. And it was the best thing ever
Oh,
because you brought your frameworks for this to us. And I tell people whenever I talk to them about it, which is, you took us through the whole, like several of the models in here, and to me it turned into almost like a vision board. Like, you had
mm,
us, put out all of our ideas, and there's a whole like section in here, which is this is the stratagem, or the unicorn innovation model, because you took us through the visionize, strategize, and mobilize. And that, giving us the space to think about all these big ideas that we wanted to do, and then thinking about all the people, and this is not, like you said, this is not a team book. So this is not about, it can be about me and my team, my internal team, but this is about this external ecosystem that you have, and it's
Yep.
really tapping into that to see how you can move the needle. And since May, pretty much in my whole, like, all of my little diagrams that I drew and all of the people that I put into place, like, all of those things have come to fruition. I mean, I have had such great success from it, which is why,
Just that excites me.
yeah, it's why I tell people this is a game changer, because it took all those little pieces that I was putting together that felt like, okay, I'm not getting to where I need to go, but through the different models in here that you talk people through, that's how I have been able to get a lot of traction.
Well, it makes me so happy to hear. And I want to point out something that even I had to unlearn and unf myself basically, because in the social media and online space specifically, what has been put on a pedestal and has shown the most is what I call like very tactical ways to, let's say, grow your business, build your brand, la, la, la. And I'm not saying any of that is bad or not worthy. I think some of it is. I think some people are not supposed to be out here teaching anything to anybody. But in general, like even the leaders who are out there, I'd say in general, their work is pretty okay. But what wasn't put in the forefront was the whole system.
Hmm.
And even, Leanna, you know this because we've known each other for now 11 years and off and on have, worked with each other, as you've
Yeah.
said. I was calling BS on that before, but I knew that if I couldn't show it in one place, this is also why the books mattered. Because it's like you can teach even a course or advise someone. But if you don't have like what I'd consider, like, this is why I call it an innovation playbook.
Yeah.
And when I mean by innovation, I'm talking about reimagination, a creativity playbook. Because creativity, innovation, and reimagination are synonyms to me. They're all like us rethinking, reshaping, you know, solving problems is what creativity allows us to do, and why I wanted you to have my end-to-end playbook,
Yeah.
because it's actually all of the things that are in this book I have taught for 11 years. But I knew that if I didn't put it in one place, where when we're being pummeled with friction, pressure, noise, lots of marketing messages, right? But when you can have like one place to look,
Right.
go, I have a new idea and I want to put it through this model. I want to just put it through the model. You'll get so good at it. You won't even need the book as much to like be a binky. It'll be more like, oh, I think like this now. I
Yeah.
strategize better for myself now. Um, and also like people have been telling me that like they ordered the Audible and the hardcover, and they're like, I listened to you talking. This is me that's narrating the book, and I'm like, oh, I can even, it's like it's sticking even more as you read it, Jen,
Yeah.
in my ears, and then I read it with my eyeballs, and I'm like, yes. And to your point, I just want to say one more thing about what you said is this is about all the team, the stakeholders that are part of the vision you have. So
Yeah.
it is your internal team, like meaning use the book with your team to go, I want you to know where we're going, and I want to show you, and I give you the process to show them better so that they can be better equipped to support you and you're not so disappointed when they don't do
Yeah.
that. And then to your point, with people you want to collaborate with, like being able to have a common language
Right.
and a planning process so that you are more successful together. And then obviously your audience and your clients to be able to say, like, this is the relationship we have. We're a unicorn team for each other, and it really was like I needed people to see that this is the way we need to think now,
Hmm.
because with the triple A threat, which I call, AI, automation, and the algorithms, um, those are here to stay and they're not going anywhere.
They're not going
So it's
anywhere.
even making us wonder, like, where do we belong in the equation as humans? And the only thing left for humans to do is be more creative and more innovative. And
Right.
so together,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what this is about.
Yeah, and also too, something that I've realized, and I think I mentioned this to you earlier, which is, it's making my brain, it's like rewiring of my brain. Like I'm finding the end goal faster, even just because
Yes.
I can now see, like, where the pieces lie, and um, with this book, you also created the Alta,
Yeah.
and that is the unicorn
Leadership
leadership
type assessment.
type assessment. And I took mine, and I am just enamored with it because I'm a VS. No, I'm an SV. Sorry, I'm an SV.
Uh-huh.
But what's interesting is I have my visionizer and my mobilizer scores are almost the same.
Oh, that makes so much sense
Y
knowing you for
It
11
makes
years.
so much sense, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Dang, I get it now," and it also put into perspective, like, my clients are the visionizers. They are coming to me saying, "Hey, I want this big idea, and how can I do it?" And I say, "I've got the strategy for you, and I'm gonna
Right.
get you from here to here, and guess what? I have a bunch of mobilizers who are going to get it done." And just to like, it gives me chills to think about that, because I think it allows me to express how my team can support our clients.
Yes.
And because now I have the verbiage, and also knowing what each person is, that's how they're wired.
Yeah.
And it's really a cool, it's cool to see it all come together.
Having common language and even understanding our relationship, ours as the leader of our company to all of these other players. And then it just helps us become more empowered to communicate clearly and to delegate better
Yeah.
and to also like say no better and also say yes better. And I mean, it just, I know it sounds like magic in like 330 pages, but it kind of is. Like, I really, um, and again, I'm the author, so I'm biased, but I really worked hard, and I hope you're seeing this, Leanna, at like making sure that it was a book that people, again, not just bought and referred, but that they read and that they used it. Like it
Yes.
is, you're using the book. That when you read the book, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I get to see all these different perspectives because I talk about all kinds of brands in here too, of like how they use this model, even if they didn't know they were using the model. Because this is
Right.
obviously my intellectual property, but it's me over now almost 30 years of business experience going, when we see the people who have won, the people that were like, wow, they are winning, or their products are really making an impact, or they've actually changed the way people think or do things, right? The case studies in it and the ULTA, the Unicorn Leadership Type Assessment, basically outlines for you like, oh, I'm like Martha Stewart, for example. Like Martha Stewart, she started her claim to fame being a cookbook author,
Yeah,
right?
an author.
Basically,
Yeah,
she was a
yeah. She
caterer.
was a
She was a
caterer,
caterer.
interior
And
design, and all the
mhm.
things.
And I talk about how she is an MV. She's a mobilizing visionizer. So she's an M, meaning she's a doer first and she does things in relationship to her vision.
Mm,
Okay. So if you're a high M in the Ulta, that means not only are you a doer and you really are motivated by accomplishment, you're also somebody who, in Martha's case, as a personal brand, is a demonstrator of her gifts, talents, and skills. She gets trust and magnetism.
right.
And whatever you feel about Martha, it doesn't matter. She's still like a billionaire and
Oh
she's
yeah,
like done
she's
epic things. And I will say, like, it's because she's an MV.
yeah.
Because, like, to her, it was like, I'm going to demonstrate how to make a beautiful home, how to make a beautiful dish, how to make things taste good, how to be a tastemaker. Basically, that's what she was doing is she was helping us all become tastemakers. And she's an MV. And that's the other thing I love about, again, I'm a little biased, but it doesn't matter what your type is.
Right.
If you know what your type is and you are the founder and you are the leader of a team, small or large, if you understand that what your role on the team is in that energy state, to for her it's an MV. If you're a VS close M,
I'm an
oh S,
SV.
sorry, close
Yeah,
S,
I'm an SV, very
close
close
M.
M. So my V is at 89 and my M is at 86.
Okay. And
So I'm
so
like,
yeah, so what to me your opportunity is this. Your opportunity is to talk to your client's vision. Like I call it meeting, call it like meeting each other at that unicorn energy intersection.
Wow.
Like we're
Wonderspin
meeting like at that
powers.
unicorn powers activate, right? It's like you're speaking to your authors that want to do something with you, and you're meeting them at the intersection of their vision.
Hmm.
And because you are a high M2, meaning like
Yeah.
you have all three pretty high, you know what has to get done. And that makes you credible. And but the key for you in your leadership role internally, the opportunity for you internally is that for you not to take over and call your team forward to do the M work better at a
Yeah.
higher standard, at a level of excellence that you're able to translate because you're an S. I'm an SV as well, and S is what we are phenomenal at is translating vision and understanding what has to get done. And so again, one of our shadows though is that because of that, sometimes it's hard to delegate because we are really good at seeing the whole thing. And so that's your biggest opportunity. And that's
Yeah.
what this book again helps you understand like, oh, where am I in atrophy and where am I actually very strong and where can I lean into both, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I got that right away as well. Like once I got into my 51 page Alta, I was like, and like I tell people, I'm like, this is not a personality assessment. This is deeper. Like this really explains, just like you said, how I am as a leader within the business and how I connect with our clients. It's just such an interesting way to now look at our business internally and externally. So,
I'm so glad
yeah,
that you saw that. But it's because you're sharp and you're strategic minded. And because of that, that's what your strategic mind was looking for this work.
it was
That's
looking
what
for
you're like, because
this.
you're a problem solver
Yeah.
naturally. So you were like looking for what am I missing? Because
Yes.
we're always going, what is the dang missing piece? This is why this publishing process, I was like, why are there so many potholes? And
Right.
why is there no warning signs up before you hit the pothole? Like I have to change my tires every week because
Yeah.
I'm blowing a tire because there's no strategy when you launch a book that's in my mind clear. Like now that I've really gone through it. And so that's why, to be honest with you, I didn't think that I wanted to reinvent the publishing industry, but now I'm really like fired up about it in my next thing because I'm like really committed to being an author, right? And
Hmm.
this next decade. And I don't want anybody to ever have to hit these potholes. At least, doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but at least you're going to know what it takes. Not like, you
Yeah.
know,
There was a lot of things to slog through to get to where you're at. And again,
oh
like
Lord.
I'm so proud of you for making it this far and for putting this out into the world. And I truly hope that all of my friends and colleagues, I hope you all grab a copy of this because, like I said, this has really changed the way that I am doing business. And it's all happened within since May. So not even in a year's time, it's really transformed the way that I see my business and the way that we work with our clients already and how we are attracting the correct other unicorns outside of the business, which that
Yeah.
you always think it maybe it's this. And one of the things you had always said was like name the people, name the different situation or the different connections you want to have in your orbit, because and
Mhm.
ask people, because that also is another thing about really naming those other people that can help you bring your vision, because those are the other unicorns that you need to rally in some way, shape, or form, and somebody that could know them. And
Mhm.
that's made a huge difference too. So there's all these little nuggets of how you can get from point A to point B and do it strategically, smart, efficiently. You're not just picking 10 ideas and running with all of them. You're actually looking at those 10 ideas and saying which one is really going to work.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it just makes my heart sing to hear like not only just like that you're getting value, but you're seeing how like it's just gonna make you go faster. Like because you already I always tell people like books too, they should teach you something new, but they should also just show you where there's a gap that you
Hmm.
just didn't know where it was
Yeah.
missing. And now you have something to fill the putty
Yes.
between your own bricks that you have laid, right? You've laid the bricks. This is just really putting the
Yeah,
making sure that it stays secure,
it
you know?
really, it
Yeah.
100%, 100% for me. So this was the book that gave me the light bulb aha. Like I know like a lot of my friends will say, this book did that for them, this book, but for me it was Unicorn Team because it
Uh,
changed my just perspective of even where I want to go with the business. I think I have bigger dreams now because they don't seem so hard to get to. And so
and
I'm
even if
for
they
that.
are in any kind of way, you know you can do it now too, right? Because you
Yeah.
have a way to navigate it
Yeah, I
instead
can
of
I can navigate all of that. So
instead of free balling it.
exactly, exactly. So, but Jen, I know your time is precious. I want you to tell
Thank you.
everyone where can they get the book and what cool things you have coming up.
Well, the best place to find it, and I love my indie booksellers. And so, if I'm always like, if you want to get it from an indie bookseller, please do that. I love bookstores. I am like, that's my happy place. I don't ever want them to go away. But if they don't have the book on the shelves for some reason, just go in and they can order it for you. But
Hmm.
obviously, if you want the book now, right now, I would go to Amazon. It has the books in stock right now. We are actually dangerously close to sell out of the first printing of the book. That's what I heard from my publisher. So that's really exciting. So go to Amazon, get your hard copy. There's no paperback available right now, and you don't want it because actually it's like beautiful, like
It is.
in
Oh my
hardcover.
gosh, everyone that they're like, "Did you design it?" And I'm like, "Unfortunately, no, but it is awesome." And then you get it and it's even prettier in person. So,
Yes,
it
and
looks good on the shelf as
it
well.
really does. I'm not mad about it. And by the way, I got to give credit. The publisher actually was the one that did the cover. We're not used to that, like that
Yeah.
the publisher gets it right. And I'm like, okay, good. Like we did something right over here. So go to Amazon, get the book. It would be fantastic if you got the book before. If you're listening, we are doing this on Friday, February 7th. If you can buy the book now, because this weekend is the big determination of whether or not this book could hit the New York Times bestsellers list. I think that from a sales perspective, I think we've done phenomenal.
Hmm.
But again, when people don't know you, and again, it's weird. People know me, but it's like the mainstream, you
Right.
know. Publishers don't know any better. The big five, the behemoths, they don't know any better. But it's so funny because a lot of famous people don't sell a lot of books.
Oh
But
no,
if you have
they don't. And
they
like
don't.
I've been in the publishing industry for 20 plus years and I have designed cookbooks for all the famous people and their books don't sell because people don't buy from them.
Because they
They're
don't know
it's
how to
there for
sell.
yeah, and they're there for entertainment. So it's
Correct.
not
Oh,
yeah,
we could have a whole live about
it's
that because
entertainment. Yeah.
people don't get, and so even I think a lot of people are surprised. Like
Yeah.
the publishers were surprised when I said my plan is to sell 30,000 books at least in the first 6 months of pub,
Hmm.
and they were like, "Sure." That's why we're running out of books right now because they
Yeah.
didn't believe that I could do even half of that. And so, if you want to be and you understand that you are a rare unicorn, a black sheep of your industry, you've always felt a little different, the good news is you are. And like now is the time to rally together. And so go to Amazon, buy this book. It actually really helps if you buy this book on Amazon right now because Amazon is the number one bookseller. And this is how they see that consumers
Right.
buy books. It really helps because I got a lot of bulk orders, and rightly so, because a lot of people have been asking me for this book for years. But yeah, if you are in any way curious and inspired by our conversation today, please go to Amazon. And then if you also buy it today, we're having the Unicorn Team Rally, which is our last big like celebration for the book launch this week. And I'm basically, especially since Leanna's audience, I know a lot of you are authors,
Hmm.
you're content creators, you like, you're experts. That particular 4 hours I'm gonna be spending with my entire unicorn team, including the publisher of our book at Penguin Hay House. Reed Tracy, the CEO, is gonna sit down with me and tell me what's happening in publishing next, how they're picking books. We're gonna sit down with my editors, my writing partners, and then my marketing team. So, like, it's juicy, and you can only get in with a purchase, 1 book on Amazon. So get it now so you can join us on Monday.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to end this live because that is going to be epic on Monday. So I can't wait to see you there, and I hope I see some of my friends there too. But Jen, again, congratulations! Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm rooting for that
Thank
bestseller
you, Leanna.
status. It's already a bestseller in my eyes.
It's
So
already a bestseller on Amazon, and I
exactly.
feel like we're gonna hit a lot of lists, and that's great, but I hope the New York Times helps a woman who looks like me hit the top of the bestsellers charts,
Yeah.
because there aren't a lot of women who get a New York Times bestseller in the business
In the
category.
business
So
category.
let's all see it happening.
Let's see it happen. Well, thanks, Jen. Have a good night. Get some
Thank
rest.
you.
You've been on fire this week, and I'll see you on Monday.
I'll see you then. Have a great weekend.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone.
Bye. Okay. So we just have to wait for it to finish
Yes,
uploading.
no
That was
worries.
great. Yeah. So we had some people on our Instagram
Oh,